Aspinall has finally had enough, and for the first time, he's broken his silence on Jon Jones. For weeks, the heavyweight division has been buried in noise. Critics shouting, fans arguing, journalists stirring controversy. And through it all, Jon Jones has been louder than anyone. He's taken shots at a man who never disrespected him, a man who showed nothing but patience and respect, a man who waited over a year for a fight Jon Jones walked away from without hesitation. But now that Aspinall is injured, forced out of the cage by an eye injury doctors have described as dangerous, debilitating, and potentially career-ending, now Jon Jones suddenly feels brave. Now he calls him weak. Now he mocks him. And the MMA world has watched this unfold like a firestorm, waiting for something they've never seen before. Tom Aspinall snapping. Because the truth is, this didn't start with an eye poke. It didn't start with Cyril Gaines' fingers digging into his eye socket. It didn't even start at UFC 304, when Aspinall stood in front of the crowd with blurred vision and a pounding head, wondering if his career had just vanished. This started the moment Jon Jones realized Tom Aspinall existed. The moment a new heavyweight arrived with freakish speed, terrifying power, and a calm confidence that unsettled Jon without him ever admitting it. It started when Jon watched Aspinall knock out everyone in front of him and knew the future had arrived faster than he wanted. And instead of facing it like a champion, Jon disappeared, dodging interviews, avoiding questions, sidestepping fights, and hiding behind excuses. While Aspinall stayed active, stayed loyal, and stayed ready, Jon Jones stayed silent. And when Jon finally resurfaced, he did it the only way he knows how, by twisting the narrative, rewriting the truth, and attacking the one man who held the division together in his absence. Aspinall absorbed every insult, every accusation, every smug comment about quitting, about lacking heart. He heard Jon laugh at his injury. He heard fans repeat the disrespect, questioning his courage. Despite this being the same fighter who took short notice bouts, stepped in as a backup, begged for challenges, and never once backed away in his entire career. Tom Aspinall has been one of the UFC's most loyal soldiers, yet somehow became the target of one of the laziest smear campaigns the sport has seen in years. But everything changed when he posted his medical update. When he revealed his eye wasn't just bruised, but seriously damaged. When he explained that his eyes no longer track together, that is dealing with neurological side.
Yeah, over a year. Career on hold. Despite the fact that he told everyone, look, this guy ain't going to fight me. He's going to retire before he'll fight me. So you might as well just give me the title now. But unfortunately, the UFC, they wanted to believe that their GOAT was the man that they bigged him up to be. And they were wrong. And after working his whole life to become UFC heavyweight champion, this was the way it was announced.
Jon Jones called us last night and retired. Jon Jones is officially retired. Tom Aspinall is the heavyweight champion of the UFC.
All right, Dana, calm down. Don't get too excited. And that was in the middle of the night in some random-ass UFC press conference. No ceremony, no celebration, no congratulations, Tom. We've got the best young fighter in the world. It was as if no one gave a fuck from the UFC. It was so bad. And I get Dana was pissed because he'd been made to look a fool by Jon Jones, but that was never Tom Aspinall's fault. Tom just wanted to fight the best guy he possibly could. And you'd think MMA fans would love that. There's a fighter who's trying to fight the best, wants to win the title, wants to defend the title and be an active heavyweight champion, something we've not had in God knows how long in the UFC. But no, because Jon Jones weirdly has a lot of fans who want to see him protected and not get his chin smashed to bits, they supported the guy who ran away from the fight and trashed Tom consistently. What a
much, because the moment he left, he came right back. And by the way, I have no problem with all of this. We never had a problem with any of this. It was the fact that he was holding up the division, holding up the belt. Everyone said, please stick around. Stick around as long as you want. Just give up the title so other people can realize their dreams. Fun fights, one-off fights, legacy fights, super fights, all day. You're bigger than the title. Jon Jones is bigger than the UFC heavyweight title. He's bigger than any title. There's only a couple of guys who are bigger than the title. Jon being one. If Tom would have beaten Jon, The fact that he beat Jon would be bigger than him becoming UFC heavyweight champion.
To beat Tom Aspinall up that night, Tom throws a kick and magically gets hurt. I would expect a fighter to at least attempt to stand back up or at least limp. And with Tom, he was just completely just out of the fight. And his last situation was Cyril Gane. He gets poked in the eye. Normally you see fighters that are doing this number, trying to get the doctor to look at it. And actually, initially, the doctor's just like, he seems fine. Tom's like, no, I can't see. I can't. The guy wasn't trying to see. Yeah. The guy didn't want to see. The eye that he was covering appeared to be the eye that actually didn't get penetrated. One eye finger goes all the way underneath the eyelid. The other eye, it was on top of the eyelid. And he ends up grabbing the eye where the finger was on top of the eyelid. I don't even think Tom really knew which eye was supposed to be more compromised. He just knew that he had been fouled and it was his way out. So that alone shows me a little bit what's behind the facade of this whole Tom Aspinall.
Suddenly, Jon Jones didn't look like a confident champion anymore. He looked like a man mocking a fighter who was fighting to save his career. And when Tom Aspinall realized that people were still calling him weak, even after the truth came out, something inside him finally snapped. The mask dropped. Tom Aspinall fired back for the first time in his career. Not with cheap insults, not with childish jokes, but with raw anger, brutal honesty, and the voice of a man who had been holding everything in for far too long. He said he was sick of people questioning his heart, sick of armchair critics who have never stepped inside a cage telling him what he should have done while fighting half-blind, sick of fighters who weren't even there that night pretending they would have pushed through nerve damage and neurological impairment, and sick of Jon Jones pretending to be the king of the heavyweight division while refusing to face the one man who could expose him. For the first time, Tom Aspinall didn't hold back. He said what fans had been thinking for months. That Jon Jones had a full year to fight him, and disappeared. That Jon Jones only speaks when he knows he won't have to back it up. That is brave behind a phone but silent in negotiations. That he waited until Tom was injured to get loud, because that's the safest Jon Jones has ever felt. The irony was brutal. Jon Jones calling another fighter weak after ducking the biggest heavyweight fight in UFC history. Jon Jones mocking an injury when half of his own career has been derailed by his body breaking down. Jon Jones saying Tom should have fought through the damage when Jon himself has only fought one safe matchup in the division, and it lasted 2 minutes. Jon Jones pretending to be the alpha while avoiding the only predator he couldn't control. But Tom Aspinall was done staying quiet. And when he finally spoke, he didn't sound broken. He sounded dangerous, like a man pushed to the edge who was coming back swinging. He said he was tired of carrying the weight of the division while being disrespected by men who hadn't earned the right to say his name. Tired of pretending everything was fine while sitting through weeks of insults, lies, and fake narratives from people who weren't even in the arena when his vision went dark. He said he was tired of being treated like a stepping stone when the truth was simple. He was the man keeping the heavyweight division alive. And then he said something that sent chills through the MMA world. This was only the beginning. When he comes back, he's coming back with a different energy, a different mindset, a different fire. The polite aura is gone. The humble giant is gone. What's left is a fighter with nothing to prove and nothing to protect. A fighter no longer chasing respect, but ready to destroy anyone who doubted him. And the first name on that list was Jon Jones. Tom Aspinall's silence had always been mistaken for softness, his respect misread as weakness, his calmness confused for fear. But when he finally unleashed everything he had held in for,